Amnesty International says it possesses concrete evidence, including names and addresses of individuals allegedly killed extrajudicially by the Nigerian military in the southeastern geopolitical zone of the country. In its latest report, A Decade of Impunity, Attacks and Unlawful Killings in Southeast Nigeria, the group accused the Nigerian police, military and the regional security outfit, Ebube Agu, and non-state actors of widespread human rights abuses in the region. Well, joining me to discuss this is Isa Sanusi, is the country director, Amnesty International Nigeria. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me this evening.
All right, let's get straight to it. Now, Amnesty International has made some, what I call it, deep, damning revelation as regards what it has termed extrajudicial killings. And in it, it says the military, even the regional security outfit, Ebube Agu, and non-state actors seems to be complicit. What exactly does Amnesty have?
Well, what we have is evidence. What we have is concrete empirical evidence proving that these atrocities have happened. And the evidence we have faces, have names, have addresses, and they have all the details that are required to establish the veracity of the cases we are talking about. This report covers between 2021 to 2024. And within this period, we were able to interview over 100 people. And 95 of those people, we interviewed them face-to-face. Only 5 we interviewed remotely. We visited all the 5 states of the Southeast Nigeria. We talked to people, we talked to families, we talked with medical workers, journalists, civil society organizations, and other people. So this is how we arrive at what we have. And as you said earlier, our findings show that a lot of atrocities have been committed by state and non-state actors. And we believe that no one should get away with those atrocities. The Nigerian government has a responsibility to check these violations and abuses and make sure that suspected perpetrators are brought to justice in fair trials and according to Nigerian laws and international law.
Let me leave you for a moment and bring Tony Ofoyetan. He is a security analyst into the conversation. Tony, thank you for your time. I would go back to the report by Amnesty titled A Decade of Impunity, Attacks and Unlawful Killings in Southeast Nigeria. It covers a period from January 2021 to about December 2025 and documents over 1,844 killings between 2021 January and June 2023. I would like you to speak on how complex or complicated, if at all, the security situation in the country is. We've seen efforts over the years, by different administrations to tackle it. We've seen resources put in that direction. Are we making progress? Tony.
And the privilege to. The question is, are we making progress? I will answer in both ways. In some areas, yes. And of course, in some areas, not too good enough. Now, because in some areas, for example, like the Southwest, is relatively, understand my choice of words so that nobody takes me up on that, relatively peaceful compared to other parts of the country. Also, the act of terrorism that was spreading towards the Southeast has been relatively also curtailed. The fight against insurgency in the north, of course, as we speak now, the issue of bombing is more or less like gone. But having said so, the political will to really fight it head on, we have not seen it the way it ought to be exhibited. But you are talking about extrajudicial killing in the Southeast. Vis-a-vis the report of Amnesty International. I want to believe that Amnesty International knows the routes through which they can route their own complaint. According to them, they said that they have done the investigation. They've interviewed about 100 different families, and they have evidence and the like. So what happened in most cases, just like Sarah, what Sarah would normally do in a situation like this is to pick up the government, at the legal level. That's why I would not say much about what Amnesty is saying that they have, because it's more or less like the evidence of an empirical observer, as it were. My own major challenge with Amnesty International is to the extent that they, with due respect, they don't seem to be too fair to security agencies in the country generally. Now, it's good enough to identify extrajudicial killing, which is good, and of course, it's also laudable. But to what extent is Amnesty also able to go into the criminals' gate then to identify those who are also killing innocent Nigerians, those who are also possessing illegal weapons, those who are also committing crimes illegally, and also bring them out? If you are able to interact with victims, then you should also be able to interact with the criminals. Now, I've seen severally the report of Amnesty International, especially when it comes to fight against terrorism, and we see a situation where the shout and the cry against human abuses is such to the extent that it demoralizes the military venture towards countering the terrorist acts and activities. And the Amnesty don't seem to have that type of energy that they exhibit against the military, against the terrorists too. If they are able to do that, that would be a balanced situation. But in a situation where all the Amnesty International, all they do is to come all out against the military perpetually, come all out against security agencies perpetually. Don't forget that our soldiers are also dying. Don't forget that the policemen are also dying. They have families too. And those people that kill them, they kill them extrajudicially.
Tony.
So we should balance it up.
Okay, so Tony, you are basically saying that Amnesty in its in addressing these issues oftentimes isn't balanced, right?
Balanced.
Okay, let's bring in of course the country director to respond to some of these things. Mr. Sanusi, Tony just laid some, what I call it, allegations to Amnesty. He said most times your, what I call it, call-outs or protests seems to be lopsided or one-sided. You talk about human rights abuses as against even the lives of some of these soldiers that are at the battle, front. And you also questioned if, as much as you question the victim, do you also make effort as a group to infiltrate the aggressors? We are talking about the bandits and the terrorists, to also get information from them so as to have a very balanced report. How do you respond?
Well, everyone is entitled to his own opinion, and I don't think it's fair, and I don't think there is any concrete evidence, verifiable evidence to prove that we are demoralizing anybody. What we are doing is telling the truth. When it comes to telling the truth, we don't shy away, and we don't bother who is involved. We believe that human rights is so important, so crucial, so supreme in the affairs of human life, to the extent that nobody, no matter what that person is doing, even if the person lives in the space for the rest of us, nobody should go away with human rights violation. Now, when it comes to what he said about security agencies, it appears that he didn't read the report, because the report lamented attacks on security forces. We even indicated that the reason why Southeastern region is in the crisis it is today, because police stations are targeted, policemen and soldiers are killed randomly. And that is why the chaos and the crisis is only escalating. And in the absence of a strong system of law enforcement, there is no way this security will be restored. We also talked about the banning of offices of INEC, which we said that the perpetrators must be brought to justice. We also talk about few cases whereby either a policeman and a military couple were also slaughtered. So it is not true to say that we are only focusing on the military, but they definitely, people only talk about the military, but we also talk more. In fact, this report is more indicting on non-state actors than the state actors. It is just that we also have to highlight what the state actors are doing, because we believe that no matter who is involved, no matter what you are doing, no matter who you are, whether you are wearing a uniform or not, there is no way we can shy away from pointing out when you commit atrocities. And when it comes to giving information or whatever, it is not our duty. We are not government. In the first place, it is because the government has failed. That is why we are having this kind of situation. A responsible, active, and effective government protect people, protect lives. And we believe that the Nigerian government has adequate resources in terms of finance. They have adequate power. The Nigerian government, if it likes today, it can summon everyone to a meeting this night.
Mr. Sanusi, Mr. Sanusi, you seem to say that the government has failed, particularly in addressing the security challenge. But I would also put it to you, in terms of their efforts, over the years, would you say there are areas they have sort of tried when it comes to curbing, this maroonders? Are there areas?
That is why I really always say, since we learned the report, I always, almost everyone I talk with didn't read the report at all. So if you look at the report itself, the report is talking about 2021 to 2024. Now, most of the atrocities we pointed out in that report were committed in 2021. Majority of the cases of enforced disappearance, assassinations, extrajudicial executions happened in 2021 and 2022. So when this government came, definitely, the report did not cover a substantial part of what happened, because we have to undeniably say it clearly that the intensity of the crisis during the previous government is much higher than what we have now. Whatever happened, I don't know, but people have to read the report first. That is why it's very important to read it. We have pointed out where we have pointed out clearly that this report covers a certain period of time. We are not talking about government, and we believe that there is no any difference between this government and the previous one, because they are all government, and government is a continuous process. Therefore, there is nothing whatsoever that you can use to exonerate somebody or to show that just because somebody inherited a problem, therefore he cannot deal with it.
All right, thank you.
That's why people campaign and contest for election, because they always make promises that I'm going to solve this problem, I'm going to solve this problem.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Sanusi. We are really trying to, of course, manage time. But in 30 seconds, Tony, I would just like to take your final thoughts. 30 seconds, please.
Well, my final thought basically is to plead with Amnesty. I'm a security professional, I'm not a politician. And anytime I read reports that I think are such that end up demoralizing our military, end up making, an international ridicule of our military's effort, it becomes very disheartening. So it's good enough that Amnesty International is trying to talk about the protection of our human rights and the like. I understand, I'm a lawyer, so I understand the essence and the meaning of human rights protection, and of course, the campaign against extrajudicial killing. But it is also imperative to balance it in such a manner that it does not become, the campaign for human rights does not become a gag through which you now begin to either slow down the enthusiasm and the zeal of the military to go after security agencies. If not so, at the end of the day, so some of the campaign now becomes a boomeranging campaign that seems as if that you are not Nigerians or that you are just working against the military and the security formation. So it must be balanced, and there's no need for them to begin to be more Catholic than the Pope. It's as simple as that. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you on the program this evening. Isa Sanusi is the country director of Amnesty International Nigeria, and also Tony Ofoyetan is a security expert. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for your time.